Product provided by Nintendo.
Super Mario Odyssey is one of the greatest games ever made, no doubt about that. The sheer level of creativity, love, and workload put into this game matches that of Breath of the Wild. But, before you click away, you need to understand that this is a very different Mario game in more ways than one. As such, we have decided to review and compare Odyssey to Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario 64. Strap yourselves in because it's going to be one hell of a ride.
Even though it's only been out for a few hours by this review, Super Mario Odyssey already has a Metacritic score of compared to Sunshine's 92 and 64's 94. But to do this properly, we're going to separate this battle into 5 separate categories: gameplay, stages, bosses, controls, and music soundtrack. We were going to have Hub World, but let's face it, the Odyssey ship ain't much of a hub. So without further ado, let the battle between Super Mario Odyssey against Sunshine and 64 begin.
Every 3D Super Mario game is masterfully crafted, except the camera in Mario 64 is ass. Super Mario Odyssey, as the 7th installment in the 3D Mario franchise, excels and evolves Mario to a whole new level with a greatly helpful and not annoying at all sidekick called Cappy. Since his sister was kidnapped by Bowser alongside Peach, they team up to travel the world looking for Bowser to stop his evil wedding with Peach. A quick note about the story. It's your typical Mario plot with a very little detail and is basically just there to motivate you to complete the game. Though it does have a great ending, but that's all we'll say on that matter. You need to experience it for yourself. Anyway, Cappy is able to capture most living creatures, including but not limited to frogs, Goombas, Hammer Bros, human beings, and T-Rex! Sorry, we couldn't resist. This feature changes quite literally everything, much like climbing and the Sheikah runes did in Breath of the Wild. A power like this could easily have gone wrong in any other game, but in Odyssey, it is so well crafted that at times you don't realize that the team at Nintendo's EPD offices had to create unique movesets and gameplay styles to complement each capturable target. This mechanic heavily impacts the different stages you play, a detail we'll get back to in that category. The whole game, both the main quest and post-game, revolve around the collection of Power Moons, which are this game's version of Power Stars and Shine Sprites. They serve as fuel for Mario's airship, the Odyssey, and collecting them will help you further progress in typical Mario fashion. Only, unlike the Power Stars and Shine Sprites, there's a lot of them. Like, way too many. We have collected over 300 moons, and are not even halfway done. The only possible comparison we can make are the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. However, unlike the Korok seeds, the Power Moons are more rewarding in both the short and long term. Gone is the traditional hub world. Instead, Nintendo has, in this gorgeous 1080p 60fps adventure, expanded and deepened the stages, which include 3D gameplay, 2D gameplay, challenges, side quests, and minigames. In many ways, these are traits you would expect a traditional Zelda game to have. As such, Super Mario Odyssey merges the gameplay styles of 3D Mario, 2D Mario, and partially The Legend of Zelda into a mixture that we have never seen before. And with a generous amount of callbacks to franchise history, Odyssey is a celebration of Mario as a whole. Oh, wait, we forgot. This is supposed to be both a review and a comparison. So, compared to Super Mario 64 or Super Mario Sunshine, Odyssey would crush both of these games separately. But does it do it combined? Let's find out. For starters, 64 and Sunshine utilize the traditional 3D Mario formula. There is a hub world, each level has power stars or shine sprites to gather, and you have to complete different missions to get them. After completing each individual mission, you are transported back to the hub world and you need to manually go back to the level to get another star. This is no longer the case with Odyssey. Once you get a moon, you stay there if you want to, and for good reason. There are hundreds of these things just laying around in the trash, underwater, in 2D sections, basically everywhere. Since there are no game overs in Odyssey, Mario can use the gold coins to buy knickknacks at the crazy cap shops located in most kingdoms. If you use the purple coins unique for each stage, you can buy appropriately themed outfits which also serve a purpose in side quests.
Both games have their own mechanics and power-ups like Metal, Wing Cap and Invisible Mario, while Sunshine simply has Flood. All of these offer unique and convention-breaking gameplay, for their time that is. Because, let's be real, there's no point prolonging this battle. Super Mario Odyssey is leaps and bounds beyond both of these games combined when it comes to gameplay. It is simply Mario at its very finest.
We've already been touching a little on this one, but for a change, we will do 64 and Sunshine first. Super Mario 64 and Sunshine are well regarded as the Mario games with true open-ended stages, with multiple stars or shines and additional stages in Sunshine's case. On top of that, both games have really solid hub worlds with secrets and activities. Both games have some of the most iconic stages in Mario history, such as Bob-omb Battlefield, Bianco Hills, Peanut Park, and Whomp's Fortress, just to name a few. All of these stages work well with the mechanics present in the given game, because not having Flood in Mario Sunshine's stages would not bode too well. Even so, Sunshine had some special action stages which took Flood away, or put you through hell like this. Thanks, Konami. When it comes to Super Mario Odyssey's stages, or in this case kingdoms, these are in many ways a blend of Mario 64's on the surface and Sunshine's when it comes to the hidden areas. Some of them can even be zipped.
When a problem comes along, you must zip it. Zip it good.
In that sense, Odyssey owes a lot to these two games for inspiration. Nonetheless, Odyssey combines these in such a way that it sticks together even in the most bizarre of locations, like a desert with floating pyramids and Dia de los Muertos, a giant metropolis with more layers than you can count, and a tropical beach that's also soda. Don't ask me how that works, it's Mario. On top of that, Odyssey has many of these types of stages, which hide multiple mini-stages and 2D sections everywhere. You would be hard-pressed to not find any, even when you're not looking. Each kingdom changes following scripted events, which open up more areas to explore, and also change the environment around you, unlocking more missions and scripted events, which means, you guessed it, more moons.
Additionally, the stages change following the conclusion of the main quest. When you complete the story, you will still have plenty to discover in each of the kingdoms. Neither Super Mario 64 or Super Mario Sunshine offer any sort of post-game content in their stages, and as such, the battle for stages goes yet again to Super Mario Odyssey. Now this is where things get a little too unfair, mostly because of Super Mario 64's simple bosses and incredibly repetitious Bowser fights. Super Mario Sunshine fares better with bosses like Petey Piranha, Eely Mouth, and the stuff of nightmares, Phantom Manta. On the other side, Sunshine also had this fight.
Mario! How dare you disturb my family vacation?
Let's just explain why Super Mario Odyssey beat these guys to a pulp.
For starters, they have a build-up. You will more than likely at the beginning of each stage notice the bosses from afar to get an idea of what you're up against. Varying from the Mecha Wiggler, Kukatail, Knuckleotech, and a few other incredible bosses that we refuse to spoil for you. Even better, Odyssey finally replaces the Koopalings with the Broodals and their leader. These fights are reoccurring and get harder after each encounter. Then there is Bowser. Like in Mario 64, you fight him multiple times, but these fights are way better. Though they still retain the Mario simplicity, they are much more engaging and exciting. This goes in particular to the later fights, which again, we're not going to spoil here. What makes these bosses even more exciting is Cappy and how he captures part of the bosses, or beings which can be used against them. This, combined with completely original bosses, make this battle go crushingly to Super Mario Odyssey. But what is a good Mario game without excellent controls? Definitely not a Mario game. This was certainly the case with Mario Sunshine, and especially the case with Mario 64. Just kidding. We all know the camera was terrible in 64, but for its time, it was revolutionary. The analog stick completely changed the way we play video games, and Super Mario Sunshine created new ways to maneuver in all angles thanks to FLUDD. Both games have good swimming controls, and of course, jumping, with moves like the wall jump, crouch jump, backflip, you name it. The only problem is that Super Mario Odyssey has all of this and more, partly thanks to our new friend Cappy, who Mario can jump on while he's floating midair. However, that's just Cappy. Mario is still the overweight gymnast we know and love. He can even roll down slopes to become like his true idol, Sonic the Hedgehog. But this time, he also captures the abilities of most known Mario enemies, and these control like a dream. Nintendo has truly nailed how you play as a Goomba, a Hammer Bro, a Sherman Tank, whatever the hell this is, and T-Rex! This list is too long to reference here, though this isn't all, since Mario can ride a few vehicles like a scooter and a lion named Jaxi. Surprisingly enough, the game also makes appropriate use of motion controls and HD rumble. You can throw Cappy by shaking the Joy-Con or Pro Controller, and you can also help Mario move faster while climbing. It's nothing too crazy, but it's nice to have nonetheless as an option. You hear that, Skyward Sword in Star Fox Zero? There's also a 2-player cooperative mode, much like the one in Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, though Cappy is a more involved individual than that little cursor you use to point star bits at enemies. You can also play the game in TV or handheld mode, and let me tell you, it is just as fun to play Mario Odyssey on the TV as it is to play in the middle of a redwood forest. In all honesty, the controls are what makes Super Mario Odyssey stand out the most from the other 3D Mario games. In that respect, Odyssey has the best controlled Mario ever. Mario music is legendary. Since Super Mario Bros., Koji Kondo and his co-composers have delivered classic after classic after classic. Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Odyssey are no exceptions. Let's begin with 64 and Sunshine, and maybe mention Galaxy for a bit. Mario 64, of course, has some of the most iconic tracks in Mario history, ranging from the starting track of Bob-omb Battlefield, the luscious sounds of Jolly Roger Bay, and who could forget Peach's Castle. Sunshine's soundtrack, while also good, was unfortunately restricted to its tropical theme, making every track sound similar to each other. And Galaxy? Oh my. Nothing is ever going to top this game's epic soundtrack. Even so, Super Mario Odyssey has a fun soundtrack that enhances the gameplay and fits excellently with the surrounding environments and different kingdoms it represents. The game has a number of unique music styles ranging from orchestral masterpieces akin to Super Mario Galaxy, festive tracks like in Sunshine, classic Mario tunes from 64 and beyond, jazzy beats like in 3D World, and even some good old-fashioned rock. In other words, this is the most complete and diverse Mario soundtrack ever. And please, one-up girls in this game. It's no contest. Super Mario Odyssey is the clear winner for soundtrack. As you can see, Super Mario Odyssey is a Mario for the future. It excels, improves, and perfects perfects all that is great about every 3D Mario game prior while fixing the problems found in Mario 64 and Sunshine. 64 and Sunshine will still remain timeless classics, but with Super Mario Odyssey, the franchise has a new king. Its varied and innovative gameplay exceeds all our expectations and creates a Game of the Year candidate that leaves us with no other option but to give our first perfect score of 100. Odyssey has no technical flaws, has not glitched on us a single time, and is simply mind-blowing. If there is any problem we have with this game, it's that Nintendo showed way too much of the kingdoms before launch. But since this is tied to marketing and not the game itself, we cannot detract anything from this perfect score. It is simply Mario perfection.
Thank you all so much for watching this special episode on the Commonwealth Realm. It's been one hell of a ride, starting with Inside Super Mario Odyssey, and we thank you for your tremendous support. Still, Mario October is not over yet. On Monday, we will release the final part of our History of 3D Mario series narrated by Jason Dameron. It will be a fitting conclusion to this insane month. A very special thanks goes to our patrons, including royal producers Transcendent Sacred Courage and Kenyatta Ali, for their generous contributions to the realm. If you want to know more about how you can support the channel and get exclusive content such as our weekly podcast, then visit patreon.com/commonrealm. In the meantime, this has been the Commonwealth Realm, and we will see you girls and guys soon.
Me, grab coins with me, oh yeah!